Okay, so this is my top tips guide to research pages. Now, obviously, the function of a research page is to gain lots of marks for AO1 and potentially AO2 and maybe even AO3 as well. What we're trying to do is explain to the examiner that you understand what's out there, and then you can talk about it kind of intelligently, and you can kind of produce work as well that's inspired by what you're looking at. Which will ultimately kind of feed in to your own designs later. It's kind of like absorbing as much as you can and influencing as much as you can your future designs. So in this case, it's a jewelry project. The whole theme was about color and pattern. So the student found this person called Julia Turner, and they got a little bit of information about them, a range of images. They've done some nice drawing, and just in here, and a nice experiment in their style. The annotation you can see is in depth, using lots of high vocabulary, and it's basically kind of using that same sort of description, opinion, develop system that we use, but analysing the actual kind of piece of work itself in depth. So talking about the style, the shape, the materials, the colour, their opinion about it, whether they like it or not, what they might do to develop it or change it, or what they might take from it. So kind of real sort of detailed analysis. And if you follow that DoD system, it can be really helpful. You'll notice, again, I mentioned earlier the drawing. So the drawing, you want to make sure that your work, so your drawing work and your experiments, actually kind of dominate the page. I would argue that these two perhaps could be a bit bigger to really kind of make it clear that this is my work. So try and make your drawing and all your experiments much, much bigger. But the drawing part is really important. It's a big factor in this particular specification. So strong use of color, think about tone, think about black pen outlines. And that can really make a big difference. A strong color, black pen outlines. Your experiments that you're doing in response to the person's work doesn't need to be copies of. They don't really like exact copies, but certainly inspired by. And what you're trying to demonstrate is that you're using different materials, you're trying different things out, and again you would explain that in written form here as well as a sort of physical photograph. So in terms of research images, research pages, you can have a simple background. This person decided not to put one at all, but if you are going to use a background, it needs to be quick and it needs to be simple. So a pale wash or a light coloured piece of paper or something like that, but certainly don't spend time on that. Don't spend time on a title either. Just keep it simple, handwrite it, or just a small little title. Don't spend half the page writing the name. You don't get any marks for that. If you're going to do it, small little title, little biography that you found on their particular website. Make sure the images are their work, not just on Google Images. So go to their specific website, then you know that it's all legit. And yeah, a bit of information about how they work, and then, as I said, images of their work, quality photographs that are in focus, DoD annotation, high quality drawings, high quality experiments and annotations. And ideally, if you can, introduce the page by saying, I'm going to be looking into this person's work to see how it might influence me. And at the end, try and summarize it. This person didn't, but try and summarize down here. And you want to do this on every page, introduction and summary. Summarize down here what you've gained from it, and what you've learned from this particular person's work, and what next. See how how it's going to influence your later decisions on your next pages. So that is my top tips guide to research pages for 3D design.